Miriam Joy, and welcome to my studio. Today I want to show you how to do the twice melted wax pendants. And I know I always say this, but I think this is really one of my favorite all-time projects. It just turns out so incredible every time. You get something different every time, so it's a lot of fun. So let's get started and show you how we do it. These are all the different pendants and necklaces and bracelets and all kinds of different fun things that I came up with using the wax as our color base and adding a little bit of glitter. And see how fun they are. And while we've got all the different shapes and sizes, and you can find some of the smaller ones and different ones in the stores, I found some really wonderful ones that we sell at Miriam Joy that I have not found in the stores. These are deeper. We have an oval. We also have a circle, which I've got running around here somewhere. We've got one here to show you, and pendants and a heart. And these are really, really great. They're deeper. Now the pendant is not quite as deep as the other ones are, but they work just as well. I melt my crayon in my low temp melting pot, and you can find those at miriamjoy.com. I use a Crayola crayon. I break it right about there into two pieces, peel the paper, and put it right in the well and let that warm. And then while it's warming, we're going to use glass eyedroppers, which you can also find on our site. And it's real important that they're glass and not plastic. And you're simply going to set that in the wax in the well, just right like that. And a lot of people want to know how they clean them, and I don't clean mine. I leave one for each color. The one thing that I will do is once I am done with a color is I'll make sure I squish it really well and get as much wax as I can out. You never want to pull the wax all the way up into the bulb, because once the wax dries it hardens and then it's really hard to get it working again. But they're inexpensive enough that you can do one for each color. So that's kind of the basics on how we're going to start that. We're going to work next on the bleeding heart design. And this is, again, we're going to fill this guy all the way up, so it's going to take a little bit of wax here. And I'm going to keep adding as I'm going so it's melting. Keep it below that line, but fill it up. And this is a real elegant, my husband says it looks very antique-ish, so. And we're going to fill that all the way up. You want to make sure it's not dipped too much in the middle. I think that's really good right there. I'm not quite up on the edges there, so all the way on the edges. Now, you can go ahead, that guy's pretty much all the same warmth. It's not too hot or cold, so I'm just going to go ahead and go to the next part of that. And what we're going to do is use our number 1 tool, and we're going to make some dots. And I'm going to use my black, and I'm going to just barely dot it. And you can do descending dots, making smaller ones up near the top, and you can make bigger ones going near the bottom. And if you need to redip it, just dip over it again. Now, if this wax was really warm still, it would already start spreading out. So we've kind of got them all lined up. Now you could do this with your knife, which is probably what I'm going to use, but you also could do it with your itty bitty tool if you wanted to as well. I'm going to go ahead and start to melt it. I'm going to make sure I melt my tool, or warm my tool, excuse me. And you want that real liquidy, but you don't want to move it around. I want to make sure that's nice and warm. And if it's real liquidy, you're just going to pull that right down the middle. And you should get little tiny, almost heart formations. You can do one, I did a reverse one up the side right there, but what I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to add just a little bit of glitter in this area right here. And leave that nice and simple. I'm going to hit it just that glitter area. I'm not going to try to hit that other part at all. Just that glitter area. Hit it just a little bit more right in the middle. And that is it. Isn't that beautiful? How simple and beautiful that is. And we're just going to let it dry, and then we'll add our sealer to it. And we can use different things to cover it. We've got 3D crystal lacquer and we've got Mod Podge. You may find that you prefer one over the other. The Mod Podge is supposed to be a little bit more heavy duty, so you could use that one if you prefer. So, but the crystal lacquer, I did a few of them with the crystal lacquer as well. So that's the reason we do not want the wax above, is we have to make sure that the crystal lacquer or the Mod Podge touches the metal. If it doesn't touch the metal, it's not going to seal the wax completely, and it's real important that we get a nice heavy coat on this so that the wax is sealed completely and it doesn't melt if somebody was wearing it and go anywhere. So that's real important. And I start around the edges, make sure we're touching that metal, and just work your way in, and it's going to be a nice thick coat. If you have any bubbles, you can usually get them out with a pin, a straight pin, or come out. Sometimes you can just grab them and they'll come out. And we're just going to keep going around and around. Now you can see my wax actually goes down in, but that's okay because this is where the coat on top is going to cover all of that up. So then you would just let that completely dry, and that's going to take a while, probably overnight, if not longer, and just make sure it's nice and flat. And then once that's dry, all you're going to do is take your chain and run it through, and you have a neck. If you enjoyed our video today, come on over to miriamjoy.com, where we've done a class DVD on the twice melted wax necklaces. And if you think that's easy to say, try it a few times. And there's Christmas ones, Halloween ones. We've got, shows you how to do a stone, and we've also got kind of an oriental one there for you. So check those out. They're a lot of fun. I'm sure you're going to get as addicted as I did.